No Ordinary Balloon Man.
Okay.
Bruce Carr.
Bruce is awesome. Bruce is a balloon artist, which is a little bit different than a balloon animal guy.
Right.
Because he actually does 12-foot balloon sculptures. We had him last year. Last year, he created the Doomsday character, which is in the upper left-hand corner. It was
That's totally balloons.
Yes, that's 100% balloons. He created it at the con.
Oh wow!
And the thing is if you look at the other balloon character that he had created, if you look at the character's face, you can tell that isn't balloons. He can actually put these massive creations on and walk around in them.
Oh wow!
He put Doomsday on and wore Doomsday as a balloon cosplay. With poles and everything on his arms and everything.
Oh,
I was
wow.
walking around with a giant Doomsday balloon figure, hugging little kids and having a Superman come up and fake punch him.
So that truly is No Ordinary Balloon Man.
Right. He's something special. And he is the most amazing guy possible. You go up, he's great with kids. He's great with everybody. I've never met anybody that did not like Bruce. Unless there was something wrong with the other person.
That is cool. Now you've already mentioned like the list here is not 100% complete. Right, there's some others.
There's a couple people that we still have to get on the website.
Right.
We're either waiting for promotional images or and that kind of stuff. Like with Nell, we had to switch Jeremy London out and get Nell on there. That all happened here recently.
Yeah.
But
well,
most of the
I'm
people
sad that London won't be there, but the other guests, I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's
a big.
I was a kid when I first discovered that. It came out before my time, but I was young when I first discovered that movie, and I've always wanted to go. I've never been to see it like at a theater showing where the crowd does all the stuff along with the movie.
Right.
I've never gotten to do that, but I've always wanted to do that. But
to put it in the words of the president, it's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Huge. It sounds huge.
Huge.
Of course, one of the activities is that the cosplay contest. Now I know these are cosplay guests. These are more professional cosplayers than just somebody in off the street, right?
Right. They've either gotten national recognition. They've gotten recognition at larger conventions here in the Southeast. Some of them are upcoming cosplayers that are starting to get more attention in the area.
Yeah.
But they haven't necessarily pushed that pop. Cami Roebuck has actually gotten some national attention with her cosplays from video game characters.
Right. Well, I recognize that name. I've never met her.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've seen maybe an article or two. Of course, looking at gaming sites and stuff, she showed up. Maybe she's been at E3 or something. Maybe that's where I've seen her.
I can't remember. I know it was
one of the PAX conventions or something like that.
I think it was a. I can't remember if it was League of Legends.
Oh yeah.
Or which MMO or not MMO, which MOBA it was.
Yeah.
But she dressed up as one of the MOBA characters, and she got national recognition. She was on their website. She was all over the place. And she's really good at her costumes.
Well, and that's the thing. Like some of these cosplayers, of course, you can tell the people that this is what they do,
right?
As opposed to somebody that's like, let's dress up and go to the convention.
Yay!
Like me, I'd just be like, well, let's just order a Superman suit off of the internet, and maybe it'll be padded in all the right places to make me look a little more
right.
But there are people, guys and girls, especially at things like E3, where you have some serious dedication to looking exactly like those characters.
Oh yeah, they'll spend years working on a single cosplay, and it takes a lot of skill and a lot of. I mean, one of the things about a professional cosplayer is they build most of that costume from scratch, even all the way down to sewing the cloth.
Right.
and it takes a lot of work. I think one of the exceptions that most cosplayers use are for shoes, because shoes are very difficult to make handmade. But some of the cosplayers even get that detailed.
Yeah, you can see, and it's the same thing, we're talking about artists. You can see a difference in a professional artist and somebody that just doodles a little bit. And I guess that's the same truth in any avenue or any career or anything like that. The pros are always going to be set completely apart from everybody else. But we've got some specific cosplay guests. Kemi Roebuck, we talked about, Ada Gray and Kelly Smith, and then a couple of groups, right? So the Ministry of Silly Suits and Cosplay Inc., the Mandalorian Mercs. That looks like an interesting one. Yeah. And then even did you have something to say about that?
Oh, it's the Mandalorian Mercs. They're Star Wars based off of
I couldn't have guessed
the Boba Fett. Well, I mean, they're based off the Boba Fett and the Jango Fett characters, and they actually get a custom design those characters.
That's pretty neat. I've seen a lot of the stormtrooper groups and everything. Of course, those are awesome too. When you see some stormtroopers that are decked out in movie quality, uniforms. It's awesome to see in person.
It's better than movie quality.
It's
the original Jango Fett costumes from the movie itself would fail the test to get into the Mandalorian Mercs. The standards are too high. It's too low quality.
Now I'm kind of hyped to see them. And again, that's something like I'm never going to qualify for something like that. I'm just not that good at that. So, and I know there's some other. I know one of the groups that's been at least working with and planning on coming to the cons is one of the local younger cosplay groups. Is that
that's the Ministry of Silly Suits.
Ministry of Silly Suits.
Not the Ministry of Silly Suits. Sorry, I just saw the Ministry of Silly Suits on the screen, and so the name popped into my head. It's the Socially Awkward Time Lords.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes,
Socially Awkward Time Lords. And even, I guess they're mostly teenagers. But
they're all high school age.
Looking at their Facebook page and other things, like they're doing all right for themselves. Like they've got some pretty high quality stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell that like the longer they do it, the better they'll get at it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. They're a bunch of great kids. They'll be at the con, of course. They'll be helping out to run the cosplaying area. We're gonna have an area dedicated to cosplaying and some activities and all that kind of fun stuff.
Now we'll get more into this, I guess, on the activities. But you're doing a cosplay contest too, so
yes.
Let's see, local. And then, of course, here's all the sponsors and everything, but that's nice to get that involvement, and it's this is not something that just one person could do. So I'm going to say, just looking at it, thinking about what it means to be in Tupelo, Mississippi, and to be able to have a convention like this, like I think you're doing wonders as far as how far it's come just in a few years.
We have a lot of people that are working on this event beyond the board. The board members and the teams that are coming together to help out. We're also bringing in the Bearded Villains. They're coming in to help out with charity and autism awareness. Yeah. We're working with a blood bank right now. They're going to have a blood drive set up at the con. We're actually about to be releasing a pre-sign up form so we can get some commitments for that, so they know how much staff to bring. Right. We have the Socially Awkward Time Lords are coming down and helping out. Adeptus Tupelo, which is a local game group, is coming together and throwing together most of our gaming tournaments. We have all kinds of people.
None of which I will be involved in. I'm not entering any of the gaming tournaments. I'd rather
they're not video game tournaments.
Okay.
They're
card.
It's like Warhammer 40K,
right?
And X-Wing. We'll have tournaments there for that. We'll have demos for Munchkin. There's actually a Munchkin collectible
I
card
guess
game.
I saw in the activity section. We'll just
Right,
go over there.
right.
There's some games that are able to be played, but not tournaments. Just kind of there for the playing
Yes.
in some of the special events. Here's the wrestling you mentioned. The wrestling, it's not fake. It's not fake. I don't care what you say. But that's I've known some people that have wrestled, I guess, on that level where it's not like primetime WWE or anything, but
Right.
it's also not really amateur either. Like they're good at what they do.
Right. Well, if you click on the learn more for the wrestling, since we kind of hit that subject,
Okay.
as we scroll down from things that are loading, we'll actually see we have we have legends that are coming down.
Right.
Bill Dundee is actually done rivalries with Jerry the King Lawler
Yeah.
and all that fun stuff. We'll have there's Josh Turner again because he's going to be
Right.
wrestling at the con. Dustin Starr is a big wrestling name for here in the local area. Grandmaster Sexay. He is a former WWE superstar, and we have wrestlers coming from all over the place.
Yeah.
We're actually going to have a double main eventer for the con this year. We're going to have professional wrestling versus professional boxing.
Oh.
And
Kind of a Rocky 3 situation.
Right. And so we'll have a Rocky 3 situation
Nice.
happening at the con, which is something that hasn't happened in our area in over 30 years.
Wow.
And so this has been a long time coming. And Championship Wrestling is the wrestling organization that's doing all this at the con. And they will be setting all this up, and we're hoping that it does really well because this is something that could potentially come back for future years and even getting bigger names. I'd like to reach out and in future years, I'd like to try to get somebody like the Big Show or Kane or somebody like that to come down.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess, we were talking about the actors and things that kind of have a second wind to their careers.
Mm-hmm.
This could be the same type of thing for wrestlers that are no longer in the prime of their abilities, but they can still do things like this and be there for the fans and signing autographs and
right. Well, the wrestling is both going to be a separate event from the con. You can just walk in and go straight to the wrestling. It's $10 if you're coming just for the wrestling event. If you're an attendee from the con, then it's $6 to go and enjoy that. So you get a discount for that. VIPs are free. The thing is though, is if you come to the con, the wrestlers are actually going to have tables at the con for autographs and pictures and all of that. And so if you are a really big wrestling fan, then coming to the con itself is actually going to be a big advantage for you.
oh yeah, the kids con.
Kids,
We were talking about we had discussed doing the panel on the regular con, but also at the kids con.
Yeah, Kids Con is a area of the con that's dedicated specifically for kids. We'll have bouncy houses at the con. We have magicians that are coming. We have magicians that are coming. We have that Bruce is going to be down there setting up balloons. We're going to have we're going to have a kids cosplay contest so that kids can come and show off their costumes and walk across the stage and get some interest in the costuming aspect. And we'll be putting a lot of focus on the kids. We're also hoping to have some dressed up characters that'll be coming, like SpongeBob and Pikachu from Pokemon and all of them coming down. So I'm really
like seeing the huge cartoon characters.
Oh yes, they absolutely love it, and so we want to give something for everybody. And kids 8 and under actually get into the con for free.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a good policy that'll encourage the the parents to bring them on out. That's what I saw, the retro gaming library. So I'm thankful there's not going to be any gaming tournaments because I'm horrible at those. But
well, we had a big gaming tournament last year, and I actually heard some complaints from some of the attendees that the only people that were actually able to play video games were the people that were playing in the tournaments because they were taking up so many TVs, so many controllers and consoles. And so this year we wanted to make sure that we were putting controllers in players' hands,
right,
instead of just the pros and the competitive.
Yeah.
We're bringing in a retro gaming library. We actually have a local individual who reached out to us and got in touch with us about bringing his retro gaming collection in. And so it'll be the actual consoles with the actual cartridges. We're going to get a bunch of box TVs to set up with those. And
that's the only way to play the retro stuff.
Right.
The big
you got to have a big old box TV
that
weighs 200 pounds on half of a table. And we're going to try to bring in some of the more modern games so that you can play some of the modern stuff as well. And we're actually talking to some of the rental companies about getting some big flat screen TVs for those, and so you can play games throughout the ages.
And this is the tournament you were talking about,
right?
Warhammer
40K. It's a really awesome miniatures tournament. People actually pay quite a bit of money for these models, and they will paint them. They'll customize them.
Those are the ones that they paint from.
Right.
When you get them, it's not painted. You have to fix it up like you want
assemble it. You paint it. You set your army up on a table, and you use a tape measurer to move them out and to blow up your opponent and do all that. And we'll have people there. The tournament isn't just for people that are coming and playing. You'll also be able to come and look at these models because these models are amazing looking. People get just as hardcore into painting those little figures as the professional artists that are painting on canvas. X-Wing is another miniatures game with the same concept where you set up your little army and it's a physical, you move the model and then you shoot and all that kind of fun stuff. It's a lot cheaper and a lot easier to get into because the models are already assembled and they're already painted. So you buy it, you set it up, and you play, and we'll have demos and we'll have scenarios and stuff so that people can actually just walk up, sit down, learn how to play the game, and play through it. Yeah. And so that's always really fun.
And then, of course, is that the game library that you were talking about when we were looking at the retro? Or is that different?
This is a separate gaming library. Okay. The other one is more video games, retro video gaming library. That's right. Yeah. And this is going to be a board gaming library. It's going to be more than just your Monopoly and your Chutes and Ladders and all that kind of stuff.
Pretty obscure stuff.
This is a lot of really advanced, more geeky games. Yeah. These games are a lot of fun. It's not. They are sit down and have fun with your family, but these are the kinds of games that you call up your friend and be like, hey, you want to go play Munchkin? Yeah. And so you'll sit down and you'll play it with your friends versus family game night.
And everybody kind of needs to know what's going on. When you get into those,
Well, the gaming library, it's going to be Tupelo Game Days, but they actually have staff that will help teach you how to play all of the games.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they have professionals that are there to make sure you know how to play the game, so you aren't just sitting there spending 2 hours reading a rule book.
Oh, yeah.
And you can get in and start playing the game.
Yeah, the only way to learn how to do it is to do it. So.
Right. And so they have some people that have read the rule books for you. They already got this. And so I'm looking forward to that gaming library.
Well, and
we'll have D&D and other tabletops. A tabletop, you have a character. You sit down. It's just like D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. So you sit down. You have your character on a piece of paper, and you're sitting around with one person who is
the dungeon master.
The dungeon master. He's leading the campaign and deciding all the random stuff that's about to happen. And those are actually sit-down players. The characters are already made for you, so you aren't spending 5 hours making a character. They're all about the same power level. You sit down and you go through an already pre-scripted campaign.
Yeah.
So it's a really good way to get introduced to the concept of what it really is, because it's not a bunch of witchcraft and devil games and all that people in the 70s and 80s were trying to really push. It's just a sit-down game that you play with your imagination.
Well, listen, Jamie, I could talk about this stuff for the next 2 days.
Let's do it. No.
But got to get into bed sometime. But thank you so much for coming out tonight. And you got off work and came up here and come to record with me. We mentioned the other day John would be out of town, and of course you offered to come and let's talk about TupeloCon for a while. And I've had fun tonight. I appreciate so much you coming by.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it.
Is there any last message about TupeloCon other than, hey, come out and see us?
Hey, come out and see us. I mean,